Dear Melissa, we are embarking on a big transformation program. However, the space I work in does not want to do discovery on changes to the current operating model, business processes, or people changes. How do I create the awareness and influence our leadership and business partners to understand the value a service design team can bring to the transformation journey? So, when we're starting a transformation like this, it is important to have a team actually manage the change management, especially in a large organization. So this can definitely be thought of as a service design team. When we're looking at trying to get people into more of a product operating model or an agile operating model, whatever you're doing here, it's going to be a different end state than where we're at right now. And it's going to affect how people do their work. It's going to affect how the business actually plans the work, thinks about budgeting, and it's going to affect people's roles. So we want to make sure that we're considering all of those factors when we actually start on this transformation journey. So if you want to influence your leadership team on this, you have to make them aware of what the changes are. A lot of times people think it's just introducing a process like Scrum or something else, and the rest will take care of itself. But how do you show them that other businesses that are operating this way are also thinking about all these different factors? There's a lot of case studies out there about businesses that have gone through transformations. I've done talks with large organizations and CPOs from them who talk through how they thought about the roles, how they thought about upskilling people, how they thought about their processes and their design. All of those things are really important. So when you're in a large organization too, in order to look at that change management, usually the head of product is the person who will be working with a team. Something like a product operations team can help you with this too, to really look at that end-to-end change management piece. And then they consider working with key partners to introduce role definitions, to understand different processes that have to work across organizations. They also look at how we might have to influence the way we do things like budgeting or governance or strategy reviews to actually get there. So maybe what you can do is introduce them to the way that other organizations work and show them how this is more of an undertaking here than we actually anticipated. Now, that might not be something that you can just walk in and do. A lot of organizational transformations take a long time. And where I see they start is usually by upskilling people, teaching them the new process or the role. Then what's going to happen is we are going to hit walls. So the best thing that you could do here is start by asking, what do we think this transformation is actually going to do? Right? What are the goals we're trying to hit here? And then over time, measure those. And if it's things like we believe is going to increase profitability or it's going to help the business do X, Y, and Z, track them. And then over time, if we're not meeting those things, we should start asking why or why not. So every transformation process should start off with really, really clear goals and metrics we should be tracking about what we think is going to happen. And then we go back and we revisit them. That's usually when leadership starts to realize the scope of a transformation, but it could take many years to actually start to implement that. So you'll want to start there, try to define what success looks like. And then if we can't measure success or we don't see we're successful, that starts opening up the conversation to what else is needed. We go out, we look at the landscape of things. That's where a service design team can come in and help with that change management. So I hope that helps. It usually does take organizations quite a while and a lot of trial and error to get to that point. So I think there's a lot of patience aspect on here, but it's good to just bring awareness of how other people are doing it and what scope was needed and maybe introduce it from there to start.